Yes, thanks for joining me once again here on Classic Dirtbike TV as we take a look at the racing highlights from the Scottish Classic Motorcycle Racing Club's Round 1 event that was held at Finavon Hill in Forfar. So we're going to go straight into race 1 now. This is the pre-1968 class, and this of course is part 1 of 2 videos that I will be posting from this Scottish Classic race event. Now, not of course a big field of riders for this pre-1968 class, but nonetheless you'll still see some good racing. So as you leave the line, it looks like a good start by number 98 there. That's Liston Bell with Lewis Bell in second position. Andrew King is in third position on that 250 HIS Stormer. So as they begin lap 1, it's the two Bell brothers of Liston and Lewis in first and second position. Of course, number 9 there in second place, Lewis Bell, is the current British pre-68 champion. That's a title that Lewis earned from last year's championship, so well done to Lewis for winning that particular title. And so as the riders come round to complete lap 1, it's number 98 Liston Bell who leads his younger brother, number 9 Lewis Bell. Number 293 there in third position, that's Andrew King on the 250 HIS Stormer. So Andrew's doing very well to try and keep up with these big 600 Jawa 4-stroke bikes of Lewis and Liston. Now, just 4 laps, of course, for these pre-1968 class bikes. We do have 5 or 6 laps for the bigger pre-1984 twin-shock bikes, so most of the classic bikes will just have 4 laps of this lovely Finavon racetrack. And as you can see, the weather here at Finavon Hill is absolutely superb. It was a bit cold and windy first thing in the morning, but thankfully the weather has now improved and it's absolutely perfect. And you can see the track conditions are very good here at Forfar. So as they come round to complete lap 2, it's still Liston Bell who leads current British pre-68 champion, number 9 there, Lewis Bell. Andrew King is still in third position on the 250 Charlie Robertson HIS Stormer. This bike belongs to Charlie Robertson, but Andrew gives it its head when he comes to these classic races and races it on Charlie's behalf. And so as we look to the far side of the track to pick up our battling Bell brothers of Liston and Lewis, it looks like Liston has got the slight advantage as they now head up Finavon Hill with Lewis in second position. Now both Liston and Lewis are riding these big single-cylinder Jawa machines, big 4-stroke bikes. I'm sure that these bikes run on methanol, but as they come round to complete lap 3, it's still a slight advantage to Liston Bell with Lewis still in second position. So as they cross the line for their last and final lap of this first race of the day, it's advantage to Liston Bell in first position with Lewis in second. Andrew King is still in third position on the 250 HIS Stormer, but it looks like Lewis is not finished yet. It looks like he's going to have a go before the end of this final lap. But it's such a cracking racetrack here at Finavon Hill, and in a way it reminds you of the kind of landscape that these kind of bikes would have been racing on back in the day. No artificial jumps or silly things like whoops, of course, just natural undulating hillside terrain. But it looks like Lewis Bell is now taking the lead from his older brother at Liston. So as they head towards the checkered flag, it's a slight advantage to number 9 Lewis Bell. Liston is still second. So as they make their way towards the finish line, looks like Liston may have a go here on the last corner. So as they exit the last turn, Looks like Liston's going down the inside, but he's went a bit wide. So as they head towards the checkered flag, and oh, dearie me, I think that was a photo finish there as they both crossed the line. But what a cracking race between these two battling Bell brothers. So as we move on to race 2, this is the pre-1989 125s, and this is race 2 of course, and quite a good turnout of pre-1989 125s for this season. We only had a few bikes last year, so it looks like this class is improved as they leave the line, and it looks like it's Mike McClurty who has that hold shot on his CR 125 Honda. So as they start at lap 1, it's Mike McClurty, number 416 on the CR 125 Honda. And Mike won this 125 class outright in 2021. And number 17 there in third place is Mike van der Meer, also riding a CR 125 Honda. Number 59 there is Ewan Davidson on the Kawasaki. Number 150, I'm not sure, that looks like a brand new rider for this 2022 racing season, so he's not listed in the programme as such. So as he heads up the hill, it's Mike McClurty, number 416 on the little 125 Honda. So coming up the hill in second position is still number 14 on what looks like a little 125 Yamaha machine, but he's doing very well on that little Yamaha 125 there. Mike van der Meer, number 17, is still in third position. As we take another look at Ewan Davidson there, number 59 on the KX Kawasaki. Number 7 just going through there was Mark Reynolds. Number 14 is Brian Hamilton on his 4-stroke Yamaha bike. I think Brian's just been added to the pre-1989 class because there's not enough pre-1977 bikes to make up a class. But as he comes up the hill, it's popping a wheelie as he goes. It's number 416, Mike McClurty. Mike van der Meer looks like he's now moved up into second position there, number 17. That rider, number 14, I'm sorry, I can't identify him at this point because I don't have a full list of the runners and riders for this round 1 event, but we'll still try and point out a few of the riders and identify them. But it's Mike McClurty who heads up the hill for the last and final time. Number 59 is Ewan Davidson on his 1985 KX 125. But it's the first win of the day for number 416 Mike McClurty, and at number 7 there Mark Reynolds is going to cross the line in third. And so that brings us quite nicely onto the first race of the day for the pre-1975 class. And as you can see, the weather's still holding up and absolutely gorgeous here at Finavon Hill. So another good lineup of pre-1975 bikes, some 2-strokes and some big CCM 4-strokes in this race. So as they leave the line, it's a good start by Stuart Roden in first position. Derek McCauley on the 250 Bultaco Pursang is in second position. And Darryl Wiley's also made a good start there in third on his, I think it's a 350 Honda 4-stroke that Darryl's riding. So Darryl's made quite a good start in this first race. So as they come towards us, it's Stuart Roden on the 500 CCM who leads Derek McCauley on the Spanish 250 Bultaco Pursang in second. Darryl Wiley is still in third position there. So as they head up Finavon Hill for the first time, this is a good ride by Derek McCauley, and he's in among some of the really big bikes in this class, so he's doing very well on that 250 Bultaco. And as you can see, Derek's already taken the lead of this race. John Fleming going through there in third position, number 10. Number 43 is Andy Malak on his CZ machine, or CZ if you're watching these videos in the USA. So as they cross the line to complete lap 1, it's still Derek Macaulay on that 250 Bull Tackle 2-stroke who is your race leader. This is a cracking ride by Derek on this little bike, but as you can see, the 250 Bull Tackle was very quick in and out of the corners, but once they get to the big straight up Finavon Hill, you'll see the bigger bikes swallow up Derek's little 250 2-stroke. But we're looking at number 20 there. That's Stuart Roden on the big 4-stroke CCM. Number 9 is Lewis Bell, who's now moved up into 3rd position on his CCM bike as he challenges Stuart Roden for that track position. But this is still a great ride here by Derek Macaulay on the 250 Bull Tackle. 2nd is still Stuart Roden. Number 9 is current British Pre-68 champion Lewis Bell. Now this bike that Lewis is riding is not a fully original CCM bike, it's a replica frame, but nevertheless a CCM all the same. So as they come round to complete another lap, it's still Derek Macaulay 1st, 2nd Stuart Roden, 3rd is number 9 Lewis Bell. Now it appears that we have lost Derek Macaulay, who was sitting in 1st position. Now I don't know if Derek's had a mechanical problem or maybe dropped his bike in one of the corners, but here's your new race leader, number 9 Lewis Bell on the CCM as he makes his way up Finavon Hill. Stuart Roden is still in 2nd position. So as we look at our race leader, number 9 Lewis Bell, as he begins to start his last and final lap, it's still Stuart Roden, number 20 in 2nd place. Number 10 there is John Fleming on the Nori Patty 3L CZ machine. Now I'm not sure if this is a 360 or a 380, but John looks like he's doing very well on that lovely hybrid CZ machine. So as we begin the last and final lap of this pre-1975 class race, it's still Lewis Bell 1st, 2nd, number 20 is Stuart Roden, and there is Derek Macaulay. He seems to have got his bike up and running once again, but he's racing in about the mid-pack now, so quite a shame that Derek had a problem there in that race, but he was doing very well in the early stages. In the black there, it's number 125, that's Ian Stainton, who is riding that Clues Stroker machine. But Derek Macaulay looking like he's going to make a move on Ian as they head up the Finavon Hill. And so as our race leader heads towards the checkered flag for his first outright win of the day, it's number 9 Lewis Bell on the CCM bike. Now coming across the line in 2nd position should be John Fleming, number 10 on the CZ, with Stuart Roden crossing the line in 3rd. But there's Derek Macaulay coming in to take the checkered flag. A very good ride by Derek, although unfortunately he had 1 or 2 problems in that particular race. So that brings us quite nicely to race 4. Now this will be the first pre-1984 class race of the day, and as you can see, a very good lineup of riders for this race. I think there's about 18 or 19 riders in this particular class. So as they leave the line, it's a good start by John Stokes on the Honda, but it's Graham Smith there on the RM400 Suzuki, who looks like it's your early race leader. Now in 2nd place, it looks like it's number 456. That's Chris Kirkbride, who was racing in the pre-1989 125 class. So he's made a cracking start on that little bike in 3rd position there, number 456. So as the rest of the chasing pack come towards us, number 217 there is Peter Maxwell on the Michael, and just behind Peter is number 23. That's Raymond Thompson. So there's Peter making his way up the Finavon Hill. So as the riders come round to complete lap 1, it's number 233 in the yellow there. That's Graham Smith on the RM400 Suzuki. Number 151 is John Stokes on that big 480 Honda machine. A very quick bike, this Honda of John Stokes, but it's still Graham Smith, number 233 on the RM400 Suzuki, who is your race leader after lap 1. John Stokes looks like he's making his way through to take the lead of that race. Number 43 there in the yellow is Andy Malik, riding that lovely little 250 Montesa Capra. But I have to say that this Finavon Hill racetrack never seems to be affected by the weather, and no matter how wet the winters have been each year, every time we turn up at this track in late March or early April, it's always in tip-top condition, as you can see now. Here's your race leader again, number 151 John Stokes. Second is Graham Smith on the RM400 Suzuki. He's quite a tall lad, Graham, as you can see. He always appears to me to be almost sitting on the back mudguard of that Suzuki, but quite a good rider is Graham. So we're looking at number 43 again there in the middle of the pack, and Andy Malik riding that Montesa Capra at 250, and he's chasing Steve Moore on the 490 Michael. So this has been a good ride by Andy, trying to keep up with those much bigger bikes of the big 490 Michaels. So we're looking at a race leader once again, number 151 John Stokes on the big 480 Honda. This track will be perfectly suited for the power from that big two-stroke 480 motor. And this big 480 Honda of John's is just one of the bikes that he normally brings to these Scottish Classic race events. And John also races a couple of big 490 Michaels as well. So we're looking at number 18 there. That's Jim Colligan, number 18 on the 81 490 Michael. Jim's just coming round to complete another racing lap and doing quite well on that big German machine. Number 88 there is Billy Pentland on his 1987 YZ 490 Yamaha that he's converted to a twin-shock race bike. Now you may remember we did a quick profile on this bike not so long ago here on Classic Dirt Bike TV, but a very nice bike and quite a quick machine as well. So here is your race leader again, John Stokes, coming round to complete another lap of this lovely Finavon Hill racetrack. But of course, if you ever fancied a go on this track yourself, or even some of the other racetracks that we race at over the course of the racing season, then why not come along and give it a go, because you'll be made very welcome, and all of the details of our race events and their locations are all available to view on the classicscrambles.com website. So we're looking at number 456, that's Chris Kirkbride, who's now racing in the pre-1984s, and Chris was racing this little 125 in the pre-1989 class race just earlier. Number 334 there is Kevin Smith on his lovely 440 Michael. Number 35 is John Porteous on his 1982 Husqvarna machine, although that particular bike has a different fuel tank on it from a different Husqvarna model, but a lovely machine just the same. So we're looking to the far side of the track to pick up our race leader, John Stokes there, number 151, who's already carving his way through the back markers in this pre-1984 class race, and John is of course on his final lap of this race. So this has been another excellent ride by John Stokes on the big 480 Honda as he makes his way up Finavon Hill for the last and final time. And as I said, it was, I think it's 5 or 6 laps for this pre-1984 class, where of course the classic bikes only have 4 laps. So as our race leader comes round to take the checkered flag, it's the first win of the day for number 151, John Stokes, on the very quick 480 Honda. Now we're just waiting on our second place rider crossing the line. I think that was Graham Smith who came across the line in second position, as we take a look at number 17. That's Mike van der Meer, and Mike of course is also riding one of those German 490 Michaels. So that brings us round to the second race for the pre-1968 class. And we've seen a fantastic race between the two Bell brothers in that first race. So as our race starter, Dougie Meek gets ready to let the riders go. So as they leave the line, Andrew King quite quick off the start line there with that 250 HIS Stormer. It looks like it's Lewis Bell in second place with Liston in third. Kenny Harper's made quite a good start there in fourth on the CZ machine, but it's Andrew King on the British-made 250 HIS Stormer who is your race leader. Andrew's quite quick on this bike when you consider that he's only riding a 250 with the Bell boys there on the 500 or 600 Jawa 4-stroke machines. So as all three riders make their way up Finavon Hill, it's Andrew King on the 250 Husqvarna, and you can just see the power of those big 4-stroke Jawas just eating up Andrew's little 250 as they go up the hill. But Andrew's made up that track position on the twisty parts of the track. But this is a good showing by Andrew on this Charlie Robertson 250 HIS Stormer. So as they complete lap 1, it's still Andrew King with Lewis Bell in second. Liston Bell is in third. And so as they begin lap 2, it looks like it's Lewis Bell, your new race leader, Andrew King in second, Liston Bell in third. But Andrew King's doing really well keeping up with these big 4-stroke machines of the Bell brothers. So Andrew's doing really well on that 250 2-stroke HIS. But it's still Lewis Bell in first position. As we take a look at number 293, Andrew King. But as I said, we've been certainly blessed with good weather once again here at Finavon Hill, with a perfect day for classic racing, although it was absolutely freezing first thing in the morning. But thankfully that biting cold wind subsided, and as you can see, it's now perfect for racing these old dirt bikes. So we're looking at number 98. That's Liston Bell with his brother Lewis sitting there in pole position. And number 118 there, that's Kenny Harper on his quite nice CZ, another bike that we featured here on Classic Dirt Bike TV recently. That's Kenny Harper's lovely 360 twin porter. And so as we pick up our pair of battling Bell brothers, once again it's still Lewis Bell who leads Liston in second position, as these riders come round to start their last and final lap of this second pre-1968 class race of the day. Now, as I said, Lewis is the current British pre-1968 champion. You think he'd have be able to have number 1 stamped on his machine, but nevertheless a very good rider is young Lewis. So as they start their last and final lap, we were looking at number 246, that's Ian Ward, riding that lovely 1966 Villiers 250. So we're looking at our race leader, Lewis Bell, as he heads towards the checkered flag. And I must say, Thus far, Lewis is riding like a champion here, but very quick again on that big Jawa 4-stroke single. So as he comes towards the checker flag, it's another win for number 9, Lewis Bell. So that brings us round to the second race for the pre-1989 125s, and this is race 6 of the programme. So just waiting on our starter, Dougie Meek, letting the bikes go, but it's another cracking start by number 416, Mike McClurty. Very quick rider on a very quick little 125. It looks like Mike van der Meer may be in second position as they leave the line and head up the hill. But it's still Mike McClurty, number 416 on the CR125 Honda. Second, it still looks like it's number 17, Mike van der Meer. Looks like number 14 is in third position. Number 59 again is Ewan Davidson on that lovely 1985 KX 125 Kawasaki. But it's certainly quite refreshing to see many more of these pre-89 125s taking to the track, because our first year that we introduced this class, we only had 3 or 4 of these little buzz bombs, but it's nice to see that we have quite a good collection now of these 125s. So as Mike McClurty crosses the line to complete lap 1, it looks like it's number 17, Mike van der Meer, who is in second position. But Mike McClurty is absolutely flying around this hillside track here at Finavon on that CR125 Honda. And as I said, Mike was the 2021 champion in this 125 class. I think he finished the season with almost 400 points, which was almost double the amount of points that the second place rider finished up with in second place. I think that was Chris Kirkbride who took second place in this class in 2021. But still Mike McClurty, who is your race leader. And there is your second place man, number 17, Mike van der Meer, also riding a CR125 Honda. Now this second pre-1989 125 class race was cut short because we had a rider lying down on the track. I think that's John Miller, but John was perfectly fine after a few minutes, and he lived to ride another day. So we move straight on once again to the pre-1975 class and race 7. We had some good racing from Stuart Roden and Derek McCauley, etc. in that first race, but as they leave the line, it's another belter of a start by number 20, Stuart Roden, as they make their way up the hill. John Fleming's in second position. It looks like Archie Baird has made a good start in third, number 180. But in the early stages, it's number 20, Stuart Roden. Second is number 10, John Fleming, and John Fleming looks like he's going down the inside there. So it looks like John Fleming is now your new race leader. Archie Baird is also moved up into second place, so it's John Fleming first, Archie Baird second, Stuart Roden third, and it looks like Ian Stainton is in there in fourth place on that Clues Stroker as they make their way up the hill. So as the riders come towards us to complete lap 1, it's number 10, John Fleming in first place. Number 180 is Archie Baird in second. Number 20 is Stuart Roden. Number 29 is Derek McCauley. And number 125 there is Ian Stainton on that reproduction Clues Stroker 4-stroke bike. Now this is not an original bike from 1972, but this is a manufactured bike that Ian's riding, but nonetheless a Clues stroker all the same. So as the riders start lap 2 of the second pre-1975 class race, it looks like John Fleming is beginning to stretch his lead at the front of this pack. John Fleming on I think it's a 360 or a 380 CZ machine that John's riding as he makes his way up Finavon Hill. But I must say I've been visiting this Finavon Hill racetrack for many years now, and during that time I can't remember of a bad event ever at this track, although it would be great to see more bikes on the line. But if you fancy it yourself, then just make the date in your diary for 2023 and have a go. And so as the riders complete another racing lap, it's John Fleming, your race leader. Second now is Derek McCauley on the 250 Bull Tackle. Third is Archie Baird on the CZ. Number 20 is Stuart Roden, but it looks like Lewis Bell is now making his way through the pack. I think Lewis may have had a bad start at the beginning of this race, but he's now carving his way through this racing pack as they head up the hill. So it's we're looking at number 29 there, Derek McCauley on that little Spanish-made 250 Bull Tackle. As we take a look at our race leader, number 10, John Fleming. But Lewis Bell is now up to second position, so we could see a change of leader before the end of this pre-1975 class race. So as John Fleming completes another racing lap, and this of course will be the last and final lap of this race, but as you can see, Lewis Bell is quite close there in second place, with Derek McCauley in third on the Bull Tackle. Number 180 is Archie Baird. So this is the battle for the win in this second pre-1975 class race. It's John Fleming with that slight advantage over number 9 Lewis Bell, but Lewis Bell looks like he's getting ready to make a move going up at Finavon Hill. Now I think that's a 360 or 382 stroke that John Fleming's riding, but Lewis is on one of those big 500 4-stroke CCM bikes, and you can see the difference in the grunt as both riders make their way up the hill. So this is going to be another win for this very talented young rider, Lewis Bell, the current British pre-1968 Scrambles champion, as he comes around to cross the line to take another race win here at Finavon Hill. And it will be John Fleming who will be crossing the line in second position. We're just looking to see who's going to cross the line in third, and I think it will be Derek McCauley. So that brings us to the second race for the pre-1984 class. Each of these classes, of course, this round one event have 3 blocks of racing before the lunch break, and we have more racing in the afternoon. But this is the second race for the pre-1984s as they leave the line. But another cracking start by John Stokes on that big 480 Honda as he gets the whole shot and makes his way up the hill. Graham Smith has made another good start on that RM 400 Suzuki, but it's John Stokes with Graham Smith in second. Number 217 there, Peter Maxwell, has also made a very good start on his Michael. Number 23 there is Raymond Thompson. So there's your race leader, number 151, John Stokes. A very quick rider on what is almost definitely a very quick bike. Second place now is 217 there, that's Peter Maxwell on the 490 Michael. Steve Moore is in third position as the rest of the pack make their way through. Number 456 again on the yellow bike there, that's Chris Kirkbride on that little 125. So as the riders make their way through to begin lap 2, we're looking at number 18 there, that's Jim Colligan from Auchtermuchty in my home county of Fife. Auchtermuchty is a little village. It's not too far from this Forfar track, but Jim looks like he's enjoying himself there on that number 18 490 Michael. So as the rest of the pack make their way through on lap 2, we're back with our race leader John Stokes, who's already coming round to complete lap 2, so it'll give you an idea just how quick John is on this big 480 Honda. He's already got about a quarter of a lap lead on this man here, number 233, Graham Smith. Graham's riding that RM 400 two-stroke Suzuki machine. So we're looking to the far side of the track, and we are looking at number 456, the yellow bike there. That's Chris Kirkbride on the 125 Yamaha, being followed by Steve Moore, number 47, who's riding a 490 Michael. So Chris Kirkbride giving a good account of himself there on that little 125. Number 52 there is Billy Porteous. We take a look at number 233 once again in second position. That's Graham Smith on the 400 Suzuki. Oh, dearie me. Looks like Graham's took a slide off his Suzuki there, but doesn't seem to have lost any track positions and managed to keep the bike going. So Graham was very lucky there, because Peter Maxwell was closing in on that second place position. As we look at number 456, it's Chris Kirkbride. I think I mentioned that this was a Yamaha in a previous race, but it's actually an RM Suzuki. So apologies for that. So we're looking at our race leader as he comes round to complete another lap, John Stokes, and you can just see the lead that John has over second place man Graham Smith on the RM Suzuki. So John Stokes well on his way to another race win. So there's your second place man just coming round to cross the line, Graham Smith on the RM Suzuki 400. Peter Maxwell now is in third position, and it looks like Chris Kirkbride is now fourth on the 125 Suzuki. Number 43, Andy Malik, also doing well on that 250 Montesa Capra. So as our race leader, number 151, John Stokes, comes round to take the last lap flag in this second pre-1984 class race, as John whizzes past Kevin Smith there on his Michael. And John's also coming up to pass number 35, I think that's John Porteous on the Husqvarna, but it's still this man here, Graham Smith, number 233, who is still in second position after his little spill in a previous lap, but Graham looks like he's recovered. Number 217 is Peter Maxwell, who is currently in third position on the 490 Michael. So another good performance here by Peter Maxwell on that bike. Fourth place looks like it's Steve Moore, who's just been overtaken by Andy Malik on that 250 Montesa. So Steve won't like that, the big 490 Michael being passed by the little 250 Montesa, but looks like Steve has now got that track position back once again. And so it's a win at number 2 for John Stokes in the pre-1984 class, and here is your second placed rider. It's going to be a second position finish for number 233, Graham Smith, on his RM 400 Suzuki. And so that brings us to the final pre-68 class race before the lunch break. This will be the third race, and as they leave the line, a very good start again by Liston Bell, with Lewis in second place. Andrew King on the HIS Stormer is in third. Mike Bell is in fourth, of course, father of these two riders in the front. As we take a look at Andrew King on that Charlie Robertson 250 HIS Stormer. So as they head up the hill for the first time. It's Liston Bell who leads at number 9, Lewis Bell. And of course we will have more racing from this round 1 event at Finavon in part 2, when we have all of the age related races, which of course are all based on the rider's age and not what particular bike that they ride. But as they come round to complete lap 1, it's still Liston Bell, your race leader. Second is Lewis Bell. Third is still Andrew King on the 250 HIS Stormer machine. Now this round 1 event here at Finavon is the first of a 7-round championship for the Scottish Classic Club, and our next event is of course on the Scottish border town of Lockerbie in May. So if you maybe fancy having a go at that event, then all of the dates and locations are available on the classicscrambles.com website. So as they cross the line to begin another lap, it's Liston Bell who is your race leader from number 9, Lewis Bell. Both these riders of course riding these big Czechoslovakian Jawa single cylinder 4-stroke machine. So as they make their way up the Finavon Hill once again, it's still Liston Bell with a slight advantage over younger brother Lewis, and it's still Andrew King in third position. And so as I said, only 4 laps for these old classic bikes, and I can always remember when I raced on the track, I always thought that even 4 laps was 2 laps far too much for me, but these guys are much more professional than myself. So as they start their last and final lap, it's Liston Bell who is your race leader. Number 9 is Lewis Bell in second position. So yet again another good scrap between these two brothers in this pre-1968 class. As we take another look at number 118, that's Kenny Harper on his 360 CZ twin port machine, a lovely looking bike, and this is a machine that we featured recently here on Classic Dirt Bike TV. But we're just looking to pick up our 2 race leaders as they come round to take the checkered flag, and it looks like it's still Liston Bell who looks like he's got this race in the bag, and Lewis is not close enough, I don't think, to make a challenge on this last couple of turns. So as they come around to cross the line, it looks like it's going to be the first win of the day for number 98 Liston Bell, and it's going to be Lewis who's going to cross the line in second. So that brings us to the final race for the pre-1989 125s in the first block of racing before the break. So as they leave the line again, another cracker of a start by that Mike McClurty on that CR125 Honda. Looks like Mike's heading already for his first brace of wins in this first block of racing here at Finavon Hill, as we take a look at some of the other riders. But as I said, a cracking turnout of bikes and riders for this relatively new racing class, the pre-1989 125s, which was only really introduced a couple of years ago when we had just a few bikes at that time. But if you have an old pre-1989 125 languishing somewhere in the corner of your workshop, then why not just dust it down and get it back on the track and try and give these guys a bit of a race at one of our events. As we take a look at number 17, that's Mike van der Meer on his 125 Honda, and of course Mike also races a 490 Micro in the pre-1984 class. But here's your race leader, Mike McClurty, number 416, who looks like he's already heading towards his third win of the day on his 125. Second place is Mike van der Meer there, number 17. We're just looking to see who is in third position. It's number 14, and I don't have that rider's name to hand, but number 59 there is Ewan Davidson on that lovely KX 1985 125. And number 14 there is Brian Hamilton, who's riding a big XT500 Yamaha, and I think this is a pre-77 bike that the organisers have put into the pre-1989 class because there wasn't enough pre-77s to make up their own class. But it certainly looks like this pre-1989 125 class is turning into the Mike McClurty show, because Mike's already won 2 races here at Finavon Hill, and he's getting ready just to cross the line to start his last and final lap. That could be another race win for Mike, barring any mechanical issues with that CR125 Honda. In third place there, it's number 14 with number 59. Once again, that's Ewan Davidson on that immaculate KX 125 Kawasaki. So as the riders begin their last and final lap of this third pre-1989 125 race, we're looking at number 150. He's a brand new rider, and I don't have his details to hand, but he does have initials of DJ written on his bike number plate, but apologies for not being able to name that rider. But it's win number 3 for this man here, number 416, Mike McClurty. So we're just looking at our second place rider getting ready to cross the line. It's another good result here for Mike van der Meer, number 17 on the CR125 Honda, and it's going to be number 14 who's going to cross the line in third position. So next up we have the penultimate race before the lunch break. This is the final race for the pre-1975 class, and it looks like Archie Baird has taken a tumble there, number 180. I think Archie got the start elastic wrapped around the bike, and it's pulled him off his machine, but he looks okay. And so as they begin lap 1, it's that man again, Derek McCauley, on that little 250 Bultaco Pursang, who leads Stuart Roden on the big 500 4-stroke CCM. John Fleming trying to go up the inside there on the CZ twin shock machine. But this is another cracking start by number 29 Derek McCauley on the 250 Bultaco Pursang, leading these bigger engined machines behind him, but Stuart Roden is in second position there on the big CCM. Looks like Stuart's going to try and make a move on Derek McCauley down the inside, but looks like Stuart's made it stick, so your new race leader is Stuart Roden at number 20 on the CCM. Derek McCauley is now second with John Fleming in third. So it's still Stuart Roden on the CCM. Stuart riding, of course, one of the many CCM bikes that he has in his collection. And Stuart was also a very good friend of the late Alan Clues, but riding very well here in first position, with Derek McCauley in second on the Bultaco and John Fleming on that CZ. I think it's a 360 or possibly even a 380 Czechoslovakian two-stroke. So there's your race leader currently at the moment, number 20 Stuart Roden, who leads now. John Fleming, who's now moved up into second position. Derek McCauley back down into third. But I have to say it must be quite hard work for Derek on this little 250 Spanish-made Bultaco to try and keep up with those bigger engined machines in front of him, but nevertheless Derek's playing a blinder here at this round 1 event here at Finavon Hill. So it's still number 20 Stuart Roden, your race leader. John Fleming looks like he's creeping up towards Stuart Roden, so we may see a good scrap before the end of this pre-1975 class race. So as they come towards us to complete another racing lap, it's number 20 Stuart Roden who leads this man here, number 10 John Fleming, as they both cross the line to start another racing lap. And so as our race leaders cross the line to begin their last and final lap, it's still Stuart Roden, number 20, who leads number 10 John Fleming. And it looks like Lewis Bell is now moved up into third position. Now I don't know where Lewis was at the start of this race, but he may have had some kind of mechanical issue, but he's certainly on his way and catching the two leaders at the front. But as they come towards us to make their way up Finavon Hill for the last and final time, it's number 20 Stuart Roden with number 10 John Fleming in second position. But this had been another good ride here by Stuart Roden on the big CCM. So as they come towards the checkered flag, it looks like it's going to be a win for Stuart Roden, but this second place battle between John Fleming and Lewis Bell isn't finished just yet. So as they come towards the line, it looks like it's still going to be John Fleming who's going to hold on to that second position from Lewis Bell in third. But another cracking race from the riders in this pre-1975 class race. And number 49 there looks like he's had a bit of mechanical issues. That's Ian Marr and his old CZ, but it looks like he's got it going once again. So that brings us quite nicely to the last and final race in this part 1 video, the pre-1984 class. And it looks like John Stokes in the background there is having a bit of trouble starting his 480 Honda. So John's going to be left at the start line as the riders make their way into turn 1. But it's been a good start again by Chris Kirkbride. Raymond Thompson has also made a good start there in third position as they make their way up the hill. Looks like John Stokes is tagging on to the rear of this pack, so at least John Stokes has got his bike fired up, so we'll see how quickly John makes his way through this pack. So as the riders come towards us, we're looking at number 17 there, Mike van der Meer. Number 43 again, Andy Malik on that. Montesa's made a good start. Number 63 on the Honda looks like he's dropped his machine, but looks okay. Number 456 is your race leader. It's Chris Kirkbride who is your race leader. Number 47 is Steve Moore in second place. Andy Malik is in third on the 250 Montesa, but John Stokes has already moved up to fourth position even after lap 1 and being left at the start line. Looks like Raymond Thompson's taking a little spill there on these 490 Michael, and Raymond was going quite well there. I think Raymond was sitting in about 4th or 5th position, but he looks like he's okay. But it's still Chris Kirkbride on that 125 who's leading this pre-1984 class race, and there you can see John Stokes is already up to second position on that big 480 Honda, and it looks like John will just blast past Chris's little bike when he makes his way up the hill. So it's John Stokes now, your race leader on the 482 stroke Honda. So it's John Stokes first, second is Chris Kirkbride. Steve Moore is in third position on the big Michael. Andy Malik is in fourth on the 250 Montesa. As we take a look at number 17 again, Mike van der Meer. Now, You may remember Mike was out on the 125 CR Honda in a previous race, and he's now riding his bigger 490 Michael. But once again, John Stokes has been the star of this show in the pre-1984 class, with 2 wins already here at Finavon Hill. So John looks like he's well on his way to yet another win. Going very well on that absolutely rapid 480 Honda 2-stroke bike. So as John Stokes comes round to start another racing lap, we're looking at our second place man there, Chris Kirkbride on his RM Suzuki. Another quick rider, Chris Kirkbride, on that very fast little 2-stroke. Number 35 again is John Porteous on the 1982 Husqvarna bike. Although, as I said earlier, John has a fuel tank from a different Husqvarna on this particular bike. But here's your race leader, number 151, John Stokes, as he comes round to complete another lap already. And he's well on his way to taking another race win. And another good showing here from the man from Burrelton and Angus. Number 43 here, Andy Malik, riding that lovely 250 Montesa Capra. Certainly a bike that you very seldom see at classic racing events these days. So Andy doing very well on that Montesa. So once again, there's John Stokes coming round to complete another racing lap, and despite being left at the start line, he's very quickly made his way through the pack, and he's now in well command of this race. So here's your battle for second place between number 456 Chris Kirkbride and Andy Malik on the Montesa Capra 250 bike. But it's certainly been another cracking ride from John Stokes on the 480 Honda. It looks like John's heading for win number 3 at this round 1 event. Now don't forget, we will have all of the age related races coming up in part 2 from this event, so make sure that you retune for that. So as he heads towards the finish line, it's going to be a win for number 151 John Stokes in the pre-1984 class. Now it looks like it's going to be a well-deserved second place finish for this man here, number 43 Andy Malik, on that 250 Montesa Capra. So a very good result for Andy in this final pre-1984 class race of the day. So I hope you've enjoyed all of the first part of racing footage from this round 1 event here at Forfar. Now don't forget to subscribe or to rejoin me so you can see all of the racing action from part 2. So once again, thanks for joining me here at Classic Dirt Bike TV.